Hi, Heather and Jerome. I just wanted to make a quick video to see if I can clarify some of the items that I was talking about in that last email. Um, so when I was talking about how the ECWID or ECWID, whichever it is, code for putting all the store stuff here on is wherever you want the products and categories, this section to actually be on your site is where you would place the code in terms of a site rendering top to bottom, right? So the code for it all lives right here. But what it does is it creates margins in what's called the Z index, which is basically layering. Excuse me. The very back layer, what's over top of that, kind of just like this cloud sun is the very background of this section. Catsmeow, the menu, this text is layered in front of it. Well, in front of all of that, as you can see, the sticky note thing here, you can't see the menu items that are behind it because it automatically places, when I put the products code down here, automatically places that layer over everything else. So then on mobile, this feature from ECWID doesn't have a mobile function. It does not come into play and is not activated. But its division of where it's actually being placed on the site, like on a desktop as we see it now, still exists. So I'm trying to find if there's a way I can find what item this is in that code and be able to call it out to display none on a mobile device. That should solve some of the issues I was talking about, but it's not 100% guaranteed because it's code from another app that I can't fully control. So I don't know. I think most of the design of how your code renders when you put it on is done within the account. The plugin allows you to put the code and different features and stuff on different pages, but it also gives you a section that looks just like the dashboard of when you're in the app. If we want to look into having me, kind of take over that full design and try to learn that application well enough to control everything, I'm game for that. But I've never used it before, so it's brand new learning experience for me there. And with what I did with the design, given the time and urgency of getting stuff done before the subscription with Josh was going to be canceled, I just basically tried to put the site back together as fast as I could with it being as close to how it was live. So it's not what I would like to see this site to be as a designer and somebody that feels like I can do some really good here with this site. But I don't want to drastically move you away from your own vision or anything like that. So that's why I think just free of charge. Let's get on the phone, consult about what we think is best for the cat's meow moving forward, and see what we can do to improve this and kind of make a game plan of how much work you want to do. And because I got plenty of things I would like to dive into. So anyways, on desktop you're allowed to close this. So since it's not on mobile, you can't close it, and then that's why that element doesn't go away. And then just to kind of highlight the problems I was discussing with like this CBD rewards sidebar, little black icon to the right here, that causes a spacing issue on an iPad. For me, I was only getting that issue when it was turned sideways. Maybe we're using a different browser on our iPad, Safari, Chrome, or Firefox being mobile browsers. Sometimes they do render code slightly differently. But when I turn it sideways, I see the issue. And again, it has to do with how this tag is automatically being placed by the code that gets dropped in this area. And it doesn't have responsive code written to it to control, how a device should display it based on the resolution and screen size and Is the phone upright or turned to the side? Is the iPad upright or turned to the side? Those kind of things that true mobile responsive stuff would pick up on. Now that might be something that we can do with inside the app Equid or EasyWid, but I can't say 100% at this time. Um, and then we get to some of the issues with the image. I don't know if you can see along the black. If I just open the image by itself, um, you can see like where there's white pieces coming in and it looks jagged. So as this image being the shape and size that you see it here, imagine putting your cell phone up to your screen and see the image and try to imagine how much of that photo can actually fit in there. It'll scale it as much as it can without breaking its true what's called aspect ratio. How wide versus how tall is the image really? It's just going to scale it, and that's either going to be for responsive. It's either going to kind of focus in or it's going to focus out, but it's not going to be able to pull in the exact image. And because it's got the animals and the people and the shape to it and stuff like that, it doesn't really make it a very good image for me to be able to, do a nice mobile look. So, I don't know how tied you are to this image or how much, you would be willing to play with it. But other issues that you were bringing up, Jerome, about the animals and not being clickable and not being visible and things like that is, again, how can you get this image the right size into your small device, and those specific items that are a part of the background, they're not separate. I can't control the position of the dog or the cat or the people individually, so then it really loses the ability to activate those pop-up features. And then I know, Heather was talking about trying to give them some animation and stuff, but you can't because they're just a part of a pre-designed, pre-made PNG image file. So they need to be standalone. And I think we can do some drastic improvements because it looks like this image, was obviously made. And it looks like the cat was traced out and placed on there, and you can see some white around the top black lines on the face, and the people, you can see some white lines within their hair, and they're cut out of their clothes and things like that, that these were pasted here. And I don't know. I just think we should, instead of trying to spend a bunch of time at trying to write what I would consider like janky code to get some of this to work for all devices, um, I think we should go a completely different direction in terms of, you know, highlighting this, kind of like CBD pet friendly type thing. And, definitely it makes the site look a little cartoonish, in my opinion, where the rest of the site's not like that. So it's not terrible. It's not like it's all over the place, but I definitely think we can make it a little bit more modern and elegant looking and do some different stuff. Um, I think we should save those ideas for when we can all collaborate together. But yeah, so kind of done as much as possible, and with the scrolling motion that makes it look like the sun's setting on a mobile device. The browsers for mobile don't handle that kind of feature um, all that well, so I try to stay away from it. It kind of really depends on what the design is and what those elements are that are scrolling, but sometimes image over image, it's very choppy and looks like your site's lagging or something, and those just types of things tend to deter users. So I just get rid of that for the risk because it's not, in my opinion, make or break on a website's conversion and performance. So yeah, hopefully this clears some stuff up, and let's chat this week or weekend as soon as we can, and you know see what might be and live within the budget to make some improvements here. And I know I'm kind of throwing it out there, so I'll definitely give you the best deal I can on really bringing this to a better point. But some of the audit pieces, it just doesn't really make sense for me to dive that deep into it. because I'm very limited with the way this image is and the way the Equid code is creating certain rendering of items that are out of my control until I can figure out exactly what Equid does when it integrates onto a WordPress site. But you know, I mean, there are other e-commerce items, but I don't want to suggest too much. But like, WooCommerce was built to be a powerful e-commerce engine for WordPress, and it's super easy to manage as the store owner and stuff as well. But maybe we can figure out, really what we can do here with Equid, and that'd be cool too. So, anyways, throwing out my thoughts and suggestions and try to clarify some stuff for you. I hope this helps.